Urbana is a missions conference that happens every 3 years for young adults.
We had about 7,000 people all come to Phoenix, and it was just a really exciting time to hear about what the Lord is doing throughout the world, and especially on college campuses.
I think one of my favorite things is probably the worship time.
Being able to worship the same God when we have thousands of different experiences and different stories.
Just felt like a glimpse of what heaven will be, just all of God's people from all over the world just worshiping Him together.
It's not really about what you're comfortable with or what you think how you can be used. It's more of how God wants you to be used in the church.
My faith exists largely in my comfort zone, and I like to have a relationship with God on my terms.
I go to school. I don't really share my faith. Though people may see through my actions, like I don't really verbally talk to them about that. So I think one way that God challenged me was to really be open about my faith. If people are willing to hear me speak about the gospel, then I should be willing to tell them as well.
It's really easy to be half in and half out, but when you're in a country where you're not allowed to talk about Jesus and that could get you in a lot of trouble, like they're either all in or they're all out.
The urgency that the world has that you don't really see here. Just watching missionaries go on stage and people just share the gospel. They'll just tell you heartbreaking stories of family members that have died in horrific ways, or family friends who are risking their life, kids that understand the gospel to a level that I don't even understand.
I think we hear all these things on the news about how the world is going downhill and that there is no hope. And it's, again, being in a room full of young adults who love Jesus and are wanting to see what their role is in God's bigger kingdom, flips that script, right? You can't sit in a room like that and be like, oh yeah, it's all going downhill. God is bigger than everything that's happening in the world. And it's so exciting to see people who are passionate about what God is doing and looking for opportunities to partner with Him in His big kingdom initiative.
You're able to hear about how practically the church is fighting the evil and the problems in the world, and it didn't feel as hopeless as it can feel.
I remember a pastor talking about, he was from Australia. He felt really called by God to move to New York and open a church up there. And there was many uncertainties and things that could go wrong, and moving his family and everything. But he took that leap of faith, and I think that through that, it multiplied his faithfulness 100-fold.
It really puts a fire under my butt to be going out and talking to my friends about God.
Yeah, I think the biggest change that I feel I'll make in my life is just living with more energy for the gospel, and I don't have to wait until I feel like I'm into the real world out of college, but that my life is real right now, and that what God has for me is just as real as it will ever be.
It's really called to live missionally, live for the Lord now. And missions, like living missionally, doesn't mean to go overseas. It doesn't mean that I have to be in the middle of nowhere, Kenya, with my family. It means I can change how I live now and to live for the Lord in my everyday walk of life.
I got to hear lots of stories about these people, and I'm like, oh my goodness, they have it all figured out. They know what God's asking them to do. But they also reminded me that they didn't just wake up one morning and were like, oh my goodness, like God told me to come here and do this and do that. And I knew exactly what was going to happen. Like they didn't know, but it gives me some peace that I get to wake up every day and just take one step and trust God in the one step that I'm taking.
Sometimes we think really small about what our role is. I know when I was young and really felt like God was calling me into missions, that meant going. And we got to hear stories of people who had the same similar experience, but then God never opened that door to go overseas, and how that changed their perspective. But really, we all get an opportunity to participate, whether it's going, supporting somebody who's going, praying, mobilizing, taking other young adults to a conference like this, or reaching our neighbors, our refugee neighbors that are right across the street. And so I think we all need an opportunity to imagine with God, what does my role look like? And the beautiful thing is we can do that together.